A desert almost the size of Denmark turned into an oasis? China has done what seemed impossible, stopping a massive desert in its tracks and even growing food in the sand. But how did they do it? And could this be the key to fighting desertification worldwide? Let's dive in. China is arguably the most astonishing and fascinating country in the world today. New engineering and infrastructure projects are unveiled here almost every year, but some large-scale projects require decades to complete. Today, I'll tell you about one such project. You'll learn how, over the past 70 years, China has nearly succeeded in reclaiming the country's fourth largest desert. Can potatoes really be grown among sand dunes? And where is the world's most unique desert water park located? A significant portion of China's deserts is in the north, including the Gobi, the Taklamakan, and other lesser-known arid regions. One of them is the Mu-Us Desert, which, until recently, was known only for its barren and lifeless landscape. But things have changed. According to China Central Television, as of 2020, over 90% of the Mu-Us Desert, spanning 42,000 square kilometers, has been transformed into a true oasis, and soon, the desert may disappear entirely. We'll take a closer look at whether this is true, but one thing is certain. China is leading the world's most effective fight against desertification. Unlike Africa's Great Green Wall project, which relies on international funding, China's efforts are entirely self-financed. This independence allows them to steadily and successfully restore desert regions, and there is plenty of video evidence to prove it. Now, let's return to the Mu-Us Desert. It lies on the edge of the Ordos Desert Plateau in the southern part of Inner Mongolia, an autonomous region of China. As mentioned, it covers roughly 42,000 square kilometers, about the size of Denmark. The average annual temperature here ranges from 6 degrees Celsius to 8.5 degrees Celsius, 43 degrees Fahrenheit to 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Looking at monthly variations, January sees temperatures drop to minus 10 degrees Celsius to minus 13 degrees Celsius, 14 degrees Fahrenheit to 9 degrees Fahrenheit. The hottest month is July, when temperatures rise to around 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. However, on some scorching days, the thermometer can climb past 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The defining feature of this climate is its extreme temperature fluctuations, both throughout the year and within a single day, meaning warm clothing is always necessary. Annual precipitation averages around 300 millimeters, or 12 inches, with most rainfall occurring in summer. A desert of this size has a serious impact on people's lives. Residents of Yulin, a city near the desert, suffered from sandstorms and strong winds that eroded fertile soil. The process of desertification in this region began thousands of years ago, but it accelerated dramatically in the 20th century. The main causes? Excessive deforestation, uncontrolled livestock grazing, and poor agricultural practices. The same challenges were faced by the US in the 1930s during the Dust Bowl, when overworked land in the Great Plains turned into a barren wasteland, and by the Soviet Union during the Virgin Lands campaign, which led to wind erosion and devastating dust storms. In the mid-20th century, strong winds stripped away millions of hectares of fertile land from Soviet farmlands. If scientists hadn't intervened, Kazakhstan's steppes, for example, could have become completely unsuitable for agriculture. By the 1950s, the Mu-Us Desert was expanding southward by approximately 150 meters, 500 feet per year. More than 65% of its territory was covered by shifting sand dunes. People were forced to abandon their land, but many stayed, and in 1959 the residents of Yulin began their battle against desertification. Many people have contributed to this challenging yet crucial battle. Local residents took a systematic approach, planting trees, primarily Mongolian pines and shrubs, while stabilizing the shifting sands of the Mu-Us Desert. Generations have now grown up planting vegetation from a young age, continuing this effort to the present day. Later, in the southwest of the desert, China established the Beijing National Nature Reserve, a once unthinkable landscape of forests, lakes, and lavender fields. Since the 1970s, China has been implementing an ambitious project known as the Green Great Wall, aimed at halting the expansion of the country's deserts. By that time, desertification had directly affected around 28% of China's total land area. The greening of the Mu-Us Desert became an integral part of this national project, which is set to continue until 2050. China's goal is to restore 350,000 square kilometers of land, roughly the size of Germany. Since the 1970s, China's forested areas have nearly doubled, with around 60% of the project already completed. While the initiative has its share of challenges, critics, and supporters, only time will tell how effective it truly is. Nevertheless, the Mu-Us Desert has become a striking example of how China is transforming its arid regions. As I mentioned earlier, since 2020, headlines have boldly claimed that the Mu-Us Desert has nearly disappeared. Later reports refined this claim, stating that the project's primary goal, stabilizing the shifting sands with plant roots, had been successfully achieved. And this appears to be true. The desert's movement has indeed been halted, and China has also made remarkable progress in greening the region. Today, large expanses of barren desert are difficult to find. However, the surface soil still consists of fine yellow sand. But witnessing once barren dunes now fully covered in greenery is an incredible sight. According to the Forestry Department of Shanxi Province, the forest coverage in the former desert has increased from just 1% to nearly 35%. This doesn't even include the restored agricultural land and other types of vegetation such as shrubs and grasslands. Additionally, the area of usable pasture land has expanded to 1 million hectares. The forested area of Chinese jujube, Sisyphus, has also significantly increased. Today, the land is being used more efficiently and sustainably. Notably, in some areas, greening efforts have helped maintain groundwater at a relatively shallow depth of just 2 to 3 meters below the surface, particularly in dune valleys. This suggests that the region's climate was once much milder and wetter, even as recently as 1,000 years ago. Ultimately, China has succeeded in halting the movement of the shifting sand dunes in the Mu-Us Desert. Restoring the ecosystem will take several more generations, but the progress made so far should not be underestimated. Additionally, data from the Yulin Meteorological Bureau shows that between 2000 and 2018, the frequency of sand and dust storms in the region significantly decreased. In the past, these storms could last for weeks, turning life into a constant struggle. Across China, Asian dust storms are considered severe natural disasters, but Mu-Us serves as proof that widespread anti-desertification efforts can improve conditions nationwide. In 2010, China launched an unusual experiment, growing potatoes in the Mu-Us Desert. According to CGTN, by 2017, the total area of experimental farmland had exceeded 4,600 square kilometers. Alongside potatoes, researchers have also been cultivating corn. While yields are still lower than in traditional farmland, Chinese scientists are working to improve agricultural productivity. Regardless of the results, growing potatoes in the desert is a remarkable feat. This experiment is especially important since desertification remains a growing global concern. However, China isn't just transforming deserts into green landscapes, it is also capitalizing on their tourism potential. Some sections of the desert have been intentionally left untouched to preserve their unique beauty. For instance, in the neighboring Kabuki Desert, which borders Mu-Us to the south, China has developed the Xiangshawan Resort. This 5A-rated attraction, the highest classification for tourist destinations in China, spans approximately 4,500 hectares. The centerpiece of the resort is the breathtaking Desert Lotus Hotel, whose striking architecture has captivated people worldwide. Yet even this was not enough for the Chinese developers. By 2020, they constructed a fully operational water park near the hotel. One of the few places on Earth where visitors can ride down towering 90-meter sand dunes and then relax in a pool while gazing at the endless desert horizon. Unlike most resorts, which are built along coastlines, this complex is located deep within the sand dunes, offering a truly unforgettable experience. To support tourism and regional development, modern roads were built through the once desolate desert. Xiangshawan Resort, located roughly 500 kilometers from Beijing, is especially popular among Chinese tourists. The transformation of the Mu-Us Desert, now resembling an oasis, is yet another example of China's extraordinary achievements. The country's progress in afforestation is equally impressive. Since the early 1980s, China's forest coverage has more than doubled, from 12% to 24% today. The country now boasts the largest area of man-made forests in the world. Of course, not every initiative is a flawless success, but China's determination, perseverance, and ability to tackle enormous challenges are truly inspiring. That's all for now, friends. Don't forget to share this video, leave a comment, and hit the like button. See you soon.